Okay, it's time to look at a check. This might look very outdated. I know a lot of us are using Venmo and Zelle and we're paying online and we're looking at our online bank accounts and things are automatically registered. But checks are still a very practical way to transfer money and to receive money. So we need to take a look at how this works. When you have a checking account, you can write a check to other people and transfer money that way. You don't have to have cash and you don't need a debit card or a MasterCard or anything, or Venmo, okay? But I want to go over the parts of a check. Your address is always here and your name, and of course we have a fake name because we don't want anyone to try to use this as a real check. There's always a space for the date. Pay to the order of. This is who receives the check. So you can write it to your grandmother, to your friend, to a business, or to a store. This is the amount in numbers, the numerical representation of the money that you want to send to somebody. And then you're going to rewrite it in words right here. And you've probably seen your parents do this, okay? Down here is a little space for you to write a note to yourself, because once this check is cashed, your bank will give you a copy of it. In the old days, they used to mail the checks back to you and you could see that they had been cashed. Nowadays, they scan a picture of the check and it's on your checking account. When you sign on online, you can click on a particular check and see it. Okay, and right here, it's worth nothing if you don't have your signature on it. And it needs to be the signature that matches the name up here and is on the account. Okay, one other thing I want to tell you about here at the bottom. Sometimes when you want to pay a bill online, they'll say you can use an electronic check. When you want to use an electronic check, what they expect you to do is get out your checkbook, look at one of your checks, and to use these numbers to set that up. Okay, so the first 9 digits are called the routing number, and they tell the computers what bank is your bank. Where are they going to go to get this money that you're authorizing that they have? So these numbers would be transferred into a form, and once again, it's called the routing number or the ABA number. Then this next group of numbers is the number of your account. So anyone who's at Bank of America or USAA or Wells Fargo, all of those numbers will be the same. This is the bank. Each person's account number will be unique. Once again, if you get any of these numbers incorrect, they will approach the wrong account. So this has to be very carefully done. And the last group of numbers is your check number. Notice the check number up here is 341. And the check number down here is 0341. So it just leaves this 0 as a placeholder so that you can have your checks up in the thousands. All right. Checks are always numbered, and when you run out of checks and you go to order more, they'll ask you what number to start your new book of checks or your new order of checks. So if you finish, like this is probably in a batch that goes up to 500. And so when you run out of your first 500 checks, you'll tell them, I need new checks. I want them to have the same address. Here's the account number. And we want to start with number 501, for example. Okay, so you will have a copy of this in your Canvas, and I'm uploading this picture for you to keep. But just remember this, okay, because if you want to pay for something online, you might need this information. Now, we're going to practice a little bit writing checks. You might be the generation that hardly ever writes any, but you need to know how to do it. So here I have a sample, and I'm just going to share with you what I put in this sample. And then you're going to notice in your assignment, you have 3 blank checks on a worksheet, and you're going to need to print those out. I did this by annotating a PDF file. If you know how to do that, you could do that as well, but I think you should handwrite these, so hopefully you have a printer. So you fill in the date, and this one is going to the electric company, and I just made up the amount, $78.50, and it was important that I had some change, because after the decimal place, that is going to be the number that's in a fraction over 100. So $78.50. So we come over here and we say 78, 70-8, and the and goes where the decimal place goes. Okay, so you don't write 70 and 8, you write 78 with the dash and 50 over 100. And then most people, when they handwrite these, write a line here so that nobody can alter this and try to get more money. Okay, you don't want them to write 78,000 or if it was just 7, you don't want them to write 100 at the end. Okay. And then down here, whatever you write in the memo section is something that only you will see. I mean, I suppose someone at the bank might see it, but it's not important. It doesn't change what happens with the money. But it's nice when you go back into your bank account and you see your canceled checks. This note to yourself helps you to keep track of your money. Okay. Sometimes also if you're paying a bill, like if you want to pay a bill to a college, for instance, you might write the student name here. So you're paying $1,000 to a college. You would want to put the student for whom that payment is for in this section. Sometimes you put a student and a number. Electric bill, you might also put the account number. So whatever is helpful to make sure that this check does the job it's intended to do can be written here, okay? And then this is a signature, and that should be handwritten. You would never type your signature. Okay, so there's the blank check. Once again, this is how you would set up electronic payments using your bank account or an electronic check. And then once you've written the check, it looks like that. Okay, there are 3 checks to be written, and there's some work to be done on the check register. The second step is once you've written the check for $78.50, you have to record that in your check register, and that'll be our next step.